Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with our Ganga-mahatmyam. Now we're in the third canto. Margantiyate Mukhapadma Nidaish Chanda Suparnair Rishayo Vivitte Yasyagama Shoda Saridvaraya Padang Padang Tirtha Padaprapana. So the context here, all the devatas, demigods, are offering prayers to Lord Vishnu. And so this is one of their prayers. O Lord, your lotus feet are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, Ganga, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions. At the end of Bhagavatam, this concept of how Ganga is the best of all rivers is again repeated by Sutta Goswami. He'll say, of all deities, Krishna is the best. Of all books, Bhagavatam is the best. Of all rivers, Ganga is the best. And of all Vaishnavas, Shambhu is the best. Continuing in the third canto, Yeshang Pibam Yaham Akanda Vikunta Yoga Mayava Bhutir Amalangri Rajat Keritai Vitrangs Tukona Vishaheta Yad Aharnamba Sadyapunati Sahachandra Lalama Lokan. What's the context here? When Jai and Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras because the Kumaras were offended by Jai and Vijay. Jai and Vijay were the gatekeepers to the seventh gate of Vaikuntha. Talk about an entry program. To go to Vaikuntha, you have to go through 7 checkpoints. So at that 7th checkpoint, Jai Vijay questioned them. So the four Kumaras cursed them. So when this happened, Lord Narayan came to settle the dispute. And this is one, he said many things, but this is one such statement. So this is Lord Narayan speaking to the four Kumaras. The Lord says, I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy. The internal energy is the spiritual energy. This material energy is the external energy. There's a difference. They're not the same. So I am the master of my unobstructed internal spiritual energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. So in many temples, especially all ISKCON temples, the deities are bathed every morning, and that water is collected and mixed with either buttermilk or yogurt, and the devotees take that. It's called Charanamrit. So now you see why we take that Charanamrit. because the water that bathes the deity, as he says here, that's Ganga. That water sanctifies the three worlds along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. So you see, throughout Bhagavatam, things are repeated. The reason why things are repeated in the Vedas is for emphasis, and also it's a methodology of how you learn something. You learn something by repeated hearing the subject matter. Let's do some more in the third canto. Yach chaucha nasrista sarit paravarodhakaina tirthena murdin adikritena shiva shivobut. So somebody's name is here. So this context, Lord Kapila resides at that where the Ganges ends. Ganges begins in the Himalayas, right? But where does it end? Bay of Bengal. So that's where Lord Kapila had his ashram. So Lord Kapila was instructing his mother, Devahuti. It's a large section of the third canto, many chapters, the instructions. So towards the end, he says this: the blessed Lord Shiva becomes all the more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of Ganga, which has his source in the water that washes the Lord's lotus feet. Now, in the fifth canto, Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. And where is Parikshit? On the bank of the Ganges. Actually, technically, he's on the bank of the Yamuna. But what is the difference between Yamuna and Ganges? I will tell you. The difference between Yamuna and Ganges is the same, but actually, Yamuna is Ganges 100 times purified, if you can understand that. The Ganges is already pure, but if you purify it 100 times, that's Yamuna. To get into that explanation, that's another class. But for now, we'll just accept that. Basically, the reason is Yamuna is specifically connected with who? Krishna. Whereas the Ganga can be associated with Narayan, Vishnu, like that. But the Yamuna that's where, on the banks of the Yamuna, what happens? Rasa dance. Okay. So Shukadeva Goswami is saying in the fifth canto, my dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, once appeared as Lord Vamana, everybody say, in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then Vamana Dev extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced a hole in its covering with the nail of his big toe. And through that hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered this universe as the Ganges River. Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with a reddish powder, the water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his or her mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges, yet its waters remain ever pure. Because the Ganges directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord, before descending within this universe, She is known as Vishnu Padi. Everybody say? So now you know another name for Ganga, Vishnu Padi, because that's where she comes from. Later, Ganga received other names like Jahnavi and Bhagirati. Why Jahnavi? Because once a great powerful rishi, Janu, he swallowed Ganga and then came out his ear. So in that sense, she is sometimes known as Jahnavi. And Bhagirati, that you will hear tomorrow. You will hear the story of Bhagirath. After 1,000 millenniums, the water of the Ganges descended on Dhruvaloka, the topmost planet in this universe. Therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupad, situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. The 7 great sages, Marichi, Vasistha, Atri, and so on, reside on planets beneath Dhruvaloka. Well aware of the influence of the water of the Ganges, to this day they keep Ganges water on the tufts of hair on their heads. They have concluded that this is the ultimate wealth. Can you imagine going to Warren Buffett, Trump, or Bill Gates and saying, I have this Ganga gel. You give me 1 billion. Will he accept? No. He doesn't accept this. But do we accept this? That Ganga is the ultimate wealth? I hope so. Why? Because your billions will not help you at the time of death, will it? Trump and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, when Yamaraj comes, I'll give you $10 billion. But if he has Ganga gel, they can be saved. That's why I keep it in my car. So who has real wealth? Devotees who have Ganga gel. They have concluded that this Ganga gel is the ultimate wealth, the perfection of all austerities, and the best means of prosecuting transcendental life. After purifying the 7 planets near Dhruvaloka, the Ganges water is carried through the spaceways of the demigods in billions of celestial airplanes. Then it inundates the moon and finally reaches Lord Brahma's abode atop Mount Meru. On top of Mount Meru, the Ganges divides into 4 branches, each of which gushes in a different direction, east, west, north, and south. These branches, known by the names Sita, everybody say, Alakananda, Chakshu, Bhadra, flow down to the ocean. All right, to be continued. Don't touch that dial. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.